शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां। 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 शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां।
Yo, namaskar. Guraniksha. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Sharada Sharadambuja Vadana Vadanambuje Sarvata Sarvatasmakam Sannidhi Sannidhim Kriyat Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Mande Guru Paramparam. Om Bharati Karunapatram Bharati Padabhushanam Bharati Padamarudam Bharati Tirthamashraye Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vetaraham Vivehinam Vande Vedanta Tatvajnam Vidushekara Bharatim. Om Sadguru Charanarvindabhyam Namaha. Kamal. We'll get started. Welcome to the second session of the Vishnu Sahasranamam lecture by Shri Pranav. Pranav, please go and get started.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Srimate Shankararya Dhimate Bhutashaktage Namostvadvaita Siddhanta Sthapanopattamurtage Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripathamaham Vande Sadgurum Chandrasekharam. भारते करुणापात्रं भारते पदभूषणं भारते पदमारूढं भारते तीर्थमाश्रये विद्यावनिगसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीम्। सर्वेभ्यो नमः. We saw in the last class this Mahabharata contains the Vishnu Sahasranama in the 13th Parva or 13th book called the Anushasana Parva. This Mahabharata is known as the fifth Veda, Bharata Panchamo Vedaha. And within that, this Anushasana Parva contains multiple instructions. This entire Mahabharata can be seen as a dialogue between Vaishampayana and Janamejaya. Vaishampayana coming from the lineage of Vyasa and Janamejaya coming from the lineage of Arjuna, Parikshit. Within that, this chapter contains the dialogue between Yudhishthira and Bhishma, where Bhishma is lying on the Sharashaya and Krishna instructs Yudhishthira to go and learn dharmas from Bhishma. So I will recap some of the slokas that we did yesterday in a very brief way, and then we can continue with the new slokas. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantake. This is basically a Navandanam to Vigneshwara. Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum, the Vishnu or Sarvavyapinam, the one that is omnipresent, that exists everywhere, that Vishnu who is in white clothes, Shuklam Varadharam, who is in the color of Shashi or Chandra, Shashivarnam, Chaturbhujam, with four arms, Prasanna Vadanam, the always happy face, that Vigneshwara must be meditated upon, Dhyayet, and for what? Sarva Vighnopashantike, Sarvesham Vignanam Upashantike, Upashantyartham, for the destructions of all obstacles. Then we saw the two slokas for the Vyasamandanam. Vyasam Vasishthanaptaram, Shaktef Pautramakalmasham, Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatan Tapo Nidhim. We are doing Namaskara here to Vyasa, who is the great grandson of Vasishtha, the grandson of Shakti, the son of Parashara, and the father of Shuka, and who is a great tapasvi, Tapo Nidhim. And who is this Vyasa? He is none other than the Amsha of Vishnu himself. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave, Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namah. So you are doing Namaskara here to that Vyasa who is the Rupa of Vishnu, and Vishnu that is the Rupa of Vyasa. And who is he? Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye. He is a Brahmanidhi or Brahmagyan. To that Vyasa I am doing a Namaskar. Avikaraya Shuddhaya Nityaya Paramatmane Sadaika Rupa Rupaya Vishnave Sarvajishnave. Avikara, Vikara means change. So that changeless, that Shuddhaya, that extremely pure, Nityaya Paramatmane, that ever existing Paramatma Swarupa, to that Sadaika Rupa Rupaya, Sada Eka Rupa Rupaya. In Upanishad, like we see, Sa Ekaha, that is always in one form, to that Vishnu, Sarvajishnave, Sarvesham Jishnu, or the defeater of all, the conqueror of all, to that Vishnu or to that Sarvavyapi, I am doing a Namaskara here. So until here is the Prathana Shlokas. The next Shloka is the first Shloka of the actual chapter in the Mahabharatam. Yasya Smarana Matrena Janma Samsara Bandhanat Vimuchyate Namastasmi Vishnave Prabha Vishnave. By whose thought, mere thought itself, do we get freed from the bandhanas of Janma and Samsara? To that Vishnu, Prabha Vishnave, that Lord Vishnu, to that all-powerful Vishnu, I am doing a Namaskara. Until here, Adi Shankara has not written the Bhashya. So, in order to start the Vyakhyana or Bhashya, Adi Shankara wrote 3 Mangala Shlokas. Mangala Shlokas as a Namaskara to Krishna, Vedavyasa, and to Vishnu, which the shlokas that we saw were Satchidananda Rupaya, Krishnaya Klishtakarine, Namo Vedanta Vedyaya, Gurave Buddhi Sakshine. And to Vyasa it was Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam, Sarvaloka Hiteratam, Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande, Shamadhi Nilayam Munim. And to Vishnu it was Sahasramurte Purushottamasya, Sahasranetranana Padabhahoho, Sahasranamnam Stavanam Prashastam, Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. So as we saw in the previous class, these three Mangala shlokas were written. And in the last shloka, he gives the purpose of writing the Vyakhyana, which is Janma Jaradi Shantyai Niruchyate. This Vishnu Sahasranamam is being commentated upon by me. And for what? For the Shanti or the removal of a Punarjanma and old age. And then the actual shlokas continue. Vaishampayana Uvacha. In Shankara, he elaborates to who Vaishampayana is talking. For that, he says, Vaishampayano Janamejayam Uvacha. So Vaishampayana tells Janamejaya the narration. What does he say? Shutva dharmana sheshena pavanani cha sarvashah yudhishthira shantanamam punarevabhya bhashata. So after hearing all the dharmas that are reduce papa, Yudhishthira Shantanavam or Bhishmam, Yudhishthira went and questioned this Shantanavam or Bhishma. Punareva abhyabhashata. Punaha, meaning again, eva abhyabhashata, question. And for the bhashya, for that shloka, we saw dharman abhyudaya nishreyasa utpatti hetu bhutan vodana lakshanan asheshena katstyena pavanani papakshayakarani dharmarahasyaनि cha sarvashah sarvaprakaraihi shrutva yudhishthirah dharmaputrah shantanavam shantanusutam bhishmam sakala purusharthasadanam sukhasampadyam alpaprayasam analpaphalam anuktam iti kritva punaha bhuyah eva abhyabhashata prashnam kritavan. So the gist of the meaning that we saw last class was Yudhishthira hearing all the dharmas already. The dharmas meaning those that are prescribed by the Vedas. Like we see so many vakyas, like somena yajata, agnihotram yajeta, darshapurnamasabhyam yajeta. So all these dharmas that are prescribed by the Vedas. So the entire purpose of the Vedas is for dharma and adharma. Dharma adharma is the entire vichara of the Vedas, and that is what is studied in Mimamsa Shastra. This entire Mimamsa Shastra is a question of how to interpret certain Veda Vakyas. So we have one Veda Vakya, Atiratram Shodeshanam Grinhami. In a different place, that exact opposite is there. Natiratram Shodeshanam Grinhami. So when there are two vidhis, meaning whenever there's a dravya devata sambandha, there is a vidhi. If you say maitram charum, that mitra devata must be offered that charu. So wherever there's a devata and dravya or that offering and who needs to be offered, Saraswati Meshim, example. So Saraswati is the devata, Meshi is the dravya. Saraswati Meshim alabheta. So for example, whenever there is a dravya and devata in the same vakya, that means a yaga is prescribed. But all of these yagas are very, very difficult to perform. Why? Because one has to be, in order to even think about yagas, the Vedic yagas, one needs to be a grahastha. And what kind of grahastha? He must have had a marriage as per the Vedic Sampradaya, and he must be having and maintaining this upasana in the prata and saya. So every morning and every evening, he has to do 2 homas. And after doing that, in the Vasanta Kala, he has to take up this Agnyadhana or this Tretagnis, this Ahavaniya Garhapatya Dakshinagni must be taken up and he must become a Ahitagni. Actually, the word Agnihotri should not be used. The word Agnihotri it actually refers to the cow. Because when you do Agnihotra, you do the homa with the payas or with the milk. So actually, per Shastra, the Agnihotri is not the person, but the cow whose milk we are using for the Agnihotram, that is the Agnihotri. The person that is doing the Agnihotram is called the Ahita Agni, or the one that does the Agni Upasana without any fail. So we see even in Raghuvamsham, Yata Vidhihuta Agninam. So these people in the Raghuvamsha, they were doing even these Prataha and Saya Anushtanas. And after doing the Agni Adhana, taking up these 3 Agnis, one must do Somayaga every Vasanta Ritu after doing that. And with this, you need so many Ritviks, Hota, Adharyu, Udgata, Brahma, and the Yaga must be performed. So this is the main concept of the Vedas. So as we can see, this is very, very, very difficult. The niyamas or the constraints are very high, and you need to have finished the entire Vedas, and you must be doing this Agnihotra. So if you look at how many crores of Hindus there are, if you look at how many Agnihotris there are there, you only have about 130 to 140 Agnihotris. And within them, the ones that are doing it every day, maybe less than 50 only. So because these are very, very difficult, Yudhishthira asks, after hearing all these Vedika dharmas, he asks, what does he ask? Alpa prayasam analpa phalam. Alpa prayasam meaning one that can be done, any dharma that can be done in a very, very minimal effort, but analpa phalam, that also leads to satpala prapti. Because this has not been said, nuktam iti kritva punaha bhuyah eva abhyabhashata prashnam kritaman. Because this dharma has not been said before in any of the previous chapters, now Yudhishthira asks Bhishma. And what does he ask? What does he ask? Yudhishthira uvacha kime kandaivatam loke kimva pyekam paraganam stuvantah kam kamarchantah prapnuyirmanava shubham. What he is saying here is kimekam devatam loke. In the Shastras, what is that one God? Kimva pyekam parayanam. What is the supreme goal? Parayanam. Supreme meaning para, ayanam meaning goal. Stuvantaha kam. By praising whom? Kamarchantaha. By worshipping whom? Do manavaha shubham prapnihu. Manavaha, manusutaha, manushyaha, humans, attain shubham or well-being. And the Bhashya that we saw last class was Kemekam Devatam Deva Ityarthaha Swarte Tadhita Pratyaya Vidhanat Loke Lokana Hetu Bhute Samasta Vidya Sthane Uktam Yadaknaya Pravartante Sarve Iti Pradhama Prashnaha. So, who is that one God that is prescribed in the Shastras? Yadaknaya Pravartante Sarve. By whose command do all of these beings come to existence? Is the first question. Kimva api ekam parayanam asmin loke ekam parayanam cha kim paramam ayanam praptavyam sthanam yasmin nirikshate vidyate hridaya grantischidyate sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare iti shrutehe hridaya granthi vidyate. So what is that supreme goal? Ekam parayanam cha kim. And for that he quotes the Mundaka Upanishad, where the hridaya granthi or the knot of the heart, metaphorically referring to the kama krodhadi bandhanas. So whatever that gives us bandhana, the kama krodha, those are all known as hridaya granthi. So he quotes this Mundakopanishad and references that. And yasya vijnana matrena ananda lakshanaha mokshaha prapyate yad vidvan abhibeti kutaschana yad privishtasya navidyate punarbhavah yasya cha vedanat taddeva bhavati brahma veda brahmeva bhavati iti shrutehe yad vihaya aparaha pantha nrinam nasti nanaf pantha vidyate yanaya iti shrutehe. Again, since we saw the Pratipadartha last class, I'm only giving a summary here. So, by knowing which, yasya vijnana matrena anandaha lakshanaha mokshaha prapyate. We see that Ananda is the lakshana of Brahman. In Bhrigu Bhrigu goes and asks his father Varuna, Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. What is this Brahman? Teach me. So for that, his Varuna tells Bhrigu, go and do tapas. So he says multiple times, Punareva Varunam Pitaram Upasasara, Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti, Tam Hovacha, Tapasa Brahma Vijignyasasva, Tapo Brahmeti, Satapo Tapyata, Satapastatva. Is what is said in the Bhrigu. So multiple times he says that Pranam is Brahman, Annam is Brahman, and everything. But after each attempt, Varuna tells Bhrigu that this is not the answer. Go again, do tapas. Punareva Varunam Pitaram Upasara. Punaha eva Varunam Pitaram. His father Varuna, he approaches, and then he says, Adi Bhagavo, again go do tapas on Brahman. Satapo Tapyata. Again he does tapas, Satapas Taptva. And then finally what he says is, Anando Brahme Tivyajana. This Anandam is Brahman. And that is what is known as this Bhargavi Vidya. Saisha Bhargavi Varuni Vidya. So this Ananda Lakshana of Moksha is attained by just the Vijnana Matrena. Matra means mere. So Vijnana Matrena Ananda Lakshana Moksha Prapyate. By just the mere knowledge. Like we saw, it does not mean you have to go do this big yaga with dravyas or do any tapas or anything. Just by the mere knowledge of, and for that he quotes another Taittiriya Upanishad Vakya, yad vidvan na bibheti kutaschana. He is not afraid from anything. And Brahmaveda Brahmaiva bhavati in Mundaka Upanishad. So whoever is a Brahmaveda, he is no different than Brahman itself. Yadvihaya aparaha pantha ninam nasti. By leaving which there is no other path for humans. This is all the bhashya for that sloka. Taduktam ekam parayanam loke yattate kimiti dvitiya prashnaha. So the dvitiya prashnaha, or the second prashna, is what is that goal, as we've seen in those Upanishad Vakyas. And lastly he says, Kam katamam devam stuvantaha gunasankirtanam kurvantaha kam katamam devam archantaha bahyam abhyantaram cha archanam bahuvidham kurvantaha manavaha manusutaha shubham kalyanam swargadiphalam prapnuyuh labheran iti punaha prashnadvayam. So this kimekam devatam loke has 4 questions out of a total of 6. So the first one we saw is Kimekam Devatam Loke. What is that Deva in the Shastras? Kim Vapyekam Parayanam. What is that supreme goal? Stumantah kam kamarchantaha. By doing stavana or stotra of which, and by worshipping which deity, do these humans, manavaha shubham prapniyuhu, attain shubha. So those are 2 questions. One is stuvantaha, one is archantah. So because they're all combined with one dhatu, which is parapnihu, we are doing the shatru pratyaya. So actually kam stuvanti, kam archanti, if you split it. But because these are all saying in being said in one sentence, it's like a gerund. Gerund meaning by praising and worshipping which do humans attain shubham, is the question. So total of 4 questions are asked here. And for the last 2, what Shankara says is Stuvantaha Guna Sankirtanam Kurvantaha. Guna Sankirtanam means praising of those qualities of the Devata. Like this Devata has Sahasra Bahoho, Sahasra Anana, Sahasra Netra. Sahasra doesn't mean just 1,000, it means infinite. Like when we say Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, what Vidyaranya Swami writes in the Veda Bhashya for that is Aparimita Sankhya, or infinite. So like that, by doing the qualities, by praising the qualities of which Deva, so whether it's in our Sampradaya, we say in the Adishankara Ashtottara, Shanmata Stapanacharya Namaha. And in the opposite of that, we also see Dvisaptita Tamochetre Namaha. Dvisaptita Tamochetre means the one that did Khandana of 72 Durmatas, and one that did the Pradishtha of the 6 Sanmatas. So this Sanmata can also be said, or Shanmatas, meaning Shat Mata. So the 6, meaning the Ganapatam, Shaktam, Sauram, Kaumaram, Shaivam, and Vaishnavam, are known as the Shanmatas. So even at Shankaracharya's time, what we can see is the ratio of good to bad was always, the bad was always higher. If you look at the bad, there is 72 in quantity, and for the good, there is only 6. So it's a 1 to 12 ratio. So even now, we are facing that same situation. So that is why Krishna says, Glanir bhavati bharata tadatmanam srijamyaham. So whenever the dharmasya glanihi, wherever that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. Wherever the increase of durmatas happens, then tadatmanam srijami, I myself manifest. So when we see, when during Shankaracharya's time, there are so many other Nastika matas like Bauddha, Jaina, which do not accept Veda Pramanam, which do not accept Ishvara, which do not accept Punarjanma. Actually, for Asti and Nasti, Asti means Veda Pramanam Asti. So whoever accepts the Veda Pramana is called Astika, not even Ishvara, if you look at the Vedantic Artha. And there's so many Nastika matas. And even within the Astika matas, there are the Mimamsakas that say that by doing karma itself, moksha is attained. Right? So even within the Astika matas that accept Veda and Ishvara and Punarjanma, there are so many, like Kumarila Bhatta, Mandana Mishra, all those people that are spreading the philosophy that sannyasashrama are only people that are not fit for karma, but the purpose of Manushya Janma is doing karma itself, Agnihotradi karmas, and that is the only way to attain moksha, is what is being propagated by Mandana Mishra itself. So for that he did avatara, and because of that only we have any mata right now. Without Shankaracharya's avatara, it's not that only he did Uddharanam of Advaita. Whether we have Visishtadvaita, Dvaita or Advaita today, that is only because of Shankaracharya's avatar. Because without his avatara and his khandana of the Durmatas, we do not know what the situation would have been. So anyway, so for that Stuvantaha, Bhashyakara says, Guna Sankirtanam Kurvantaha, praising of that, of those qualities. Katamam Devam Archantaha, Bahyam Abhyantaram cha Archanam Bahuvidham Kurvantaha. Bahyam, meaning the outer puja with the dravyas, or the Antaram, the Manasa puja, which is said to be even better. Kurvantaha, while doing this, Manavaha Manusutaha, meaning humans, Shubham Kalyanam Swargadiphalam Prapniyuhu Labheran. So the last two questions were, which God should be praised and which God should be worshipped? Until this, we had covered last class. The next two questions are, Ko dharma sarva dharmana bhavatah paramo matah kim japan muchyate jantuhu janma samsara bandhanat. Ko dharma sarva dharmana bhavatah paramo matah kim japan muchyate jantur janma samsara bandhanat. कः धर्मः सर्वधर्माणां सर्वधर्माणां धर्मः? What is the dharma of all dharmas, meaning the greatest dharma, in your opinion? Bhavatah paramo matah. Bhavatah meaning your, paramo matah meaning in your highest opinion. Kim japan janma samsara bandhanat muchyate. By doing japa of what do we get freed from the bandhanas of janma and samsara? And by we, who are, what is the pada being used? Jantuhu, or anything that is born, is called a jantu, not just manushas. So these are the remaining fifth and sixth questions. The fifth question is, kaha sarvadharmanam dharmah, and kim japan muchyate jantuhu janma samsara bandhana. So what is the highest dharma in your opinion? And by doing japa of what do these jantus get freed from the bandhana or the bondage of janma and samsara, birth and rebirth, this cycle? For that, the Bhashyakara writes, Kaha dharmaha purvokta lakshanaha sarvadharmana. So if pada has been already defined before, Adi Shankara will not again write the lakshana again. That is why it's very important to read from the beginning. So for dharmaha, he said purvokta lakshanaha. Already we saw in the previous shloka, dharmane abhyuda nishreyasa utpatti hetu bhutane chodana lakshanane. So again, he is not going to repeat that every time the word dharma comes. So if the word has been defined before, it will just be purvokta lakshanaha. So that dharma which we saw in the previous two shlokas ago, that dharma, purvokta lakshanaha, sarva dharmanam, sarvesham dharmanam madhye. Meaning, in all of those dharmas, sarvesham dharmanam madhye, out of all those dharmas, kaha dharmaha, meaning what is that best dharma? Bhavatah paramo matah. For that, Shankaracharya writes, Bhavatah paramaha prakrishtah matah abhipreta iti abhipretah iti panchamah prashnah. In your opinion, what is that highest dharma? Is the fifth question. Kim japam japan uccha upamshu manasalakshanam japan kurvan jantuhu janana dharma. So for the sixth question, what does Shankara say? Kim japan, by doing what? Japam of what? And not just japa of anything. Kim japyam japan. Japyam means one that has been prescribed to be done japa of. Not just any word or anything. Like Ramanama, Devanama, mantras from Vedas, mantras from the Mantra Shastra, those mantras that have been gotten Upadesha from a guru. those mantras. Kim japyam japan, not any word or any pada or any akshara. What that has been prescribed to be repeated. Japyam japan. Japyam is what needs to be done japam of. Japan, by doing japam, Uchcha upamshu manasa lakshanam. Uchcha upamshu manasa lakshanam. So this Uchcha meaning the mantra that can be heard by others. So for example, Namah Shankaraya, Namah Shankaraya, Namah Shankaraya is called the Uchcha Japa. The Upamshu Japa is one that cannot be heard by even the people around, even by the Samipasthas, even by the people that are close by, they cannot hear it, but the lips will be moving. Like, and the third japa is Manasa Japa, which is even the lips do not move, but just the japa is being done internally. So these are the three types of japas. And what we can see is Manusmriti. In Manusmriti, Manu also says the same thing. Vidayagna japayagno vishishto dashabhir gunaihi upamshusyat shataguna sahasro manasa smritaha. In the second chapter of Manusmriti, Manu says the japa of the mantras that have been described by the Vedas, that is called the Vidhi Yajna. So Vidhi Yajna has wherever there's a Vidhi, like Agnihotam Juhoti, all these Vidhis that we see in Veda, those that are being done in the Shrauta context, those are called Vidhi Yajna. And that is 10 times the phala of a normal thing. Vidhi Yajna Japayagno Vishishto Dashabhir Gunaihi Upamshusyat Shatagunaha. If we do the upamshu, which is just the moving of the lips, that is 100 times more phalam, and sahasro manasa smritaha. So if we do it in the manas itself without even the lips moving, that is 1000 times the phala. So the Uchcha Japa is 10 times, the Upamshu Japa is 100 times, and the Manasa Japa is 1000 times. So we are saying the Adhama, Madhyama, and Uttama. So the Uttama, the best type of Japa is the Manasa Japa. And we saw that Manusmriti, Vidiyagna, Japayagno, Vishishto Dashabhir Gunehi, Upamshusyad Shataguna Sahasro Manasa Smritaha. So this is just backing up the point that Adi Shankara has mentioned. So Kim Japyam Japan Uchcha Upamshu Manasa Lakshanam Japam Kurvan. So by doing japa, either outwardly by moving of just the lips or internally, that is japa. By doing japa of that, and what needs to be done japa of, Jantuhu Janana Dharma. So here, at least in the previous shloka, he said Manavaha. Prapnir Manava Shubham. There he says Manavaha. Here in this shloka, the word is Jantuhu. Jantuhu is Janana Dharma. Whoever is born, that is a Jantu, not just Manushya, but all the pranis. That's why even in Veda, we see so many Arthavadas. Arthavadas meaning the Brahmana Bhagas that are not relating to any Vidhi can be classified as a Arthavada, meaning so many stories. So there can be one story that says Indra did this yaga, Agni did this yaga, and by reading those Arthavadas, we get motivation to do those yagas. Oh, Agni did this, so I also want to do it. Like that, in one Arthavada, there is this mantra, Deva vai brahmanna vadanta tat parna upashanot sushrava vai nama. So this parna vriksha was there, and the devatas in the Devasabha, they did Brahma Vichara in the shade of this parna vriksha. And for that, just by hearing that, they're saying that just by hearing the parna vriksha, just by hearing this Brahma Vichara, that that Parna Vriksha got Uttamagati. Sushrava Vainama, he got the name Sushrava, meaning well heard, because he heard this Brahma Vichara. And why is this being said? Because these Yaga, Yajna Sadhana Patras, Yatpara Namayo Juhu. So all these Juhu and all these Yajna Patras, they must be done by only the Parna Vriksha itself. Why you can't use any other tree? Because this is the Arthavada as being done. Devavai Brahman Navadanta Tat Parna Upashanot, because these devatas were doing Brahma Vichara under the shade of the Parna tree, which the Parna tree heard in the Sattvada, that Parna tree got the name Sushrava. And because of that, all these patras must be done only through the wood of the Parna Vriksha and not through any other wood. Like that, this is not just a upaya for Manushas or Purushas, Stri, there is no bheda here. For any prani, this can be done. We should not ask how or anything, because even when you look at Gajendra Moksha, Gajendra is not a human, right? Even for an elephant, the moksha can be attained. So there are some upayas for that. So that is why we'll continue. So anena jantu shabdena japarchana stavanadishu yatha yogyam sarva praninam adhikaram suchayati. So this is very important. Sarva praninam adhikaram. So for certain japas, you need to have initiation from a guru, and there are so many niyamas. But for this Vishnu Sahasranama japa, sarva praninam adhikaram, or any nama within the Vishnu Sahasranamam, all pranis have adhikaram. So there is no question of any other Purusha, Stri, or anything. So this anena jantu shabdena, by this jantu shabda, japa archana stavanadishu, by this japa, this puja, and this praising, yatha yogyam, by the qualification of the individual, whether if they're the adhamadikari, madhyamadikari, or uttamadikari, that is different. But yatha yogyam, by their shakti, by their time, by their constraints, sarva praninam adhikaram suchayati. The adhikaram, or the capacity to do this, is been said for every being by this jantu shabda. So janma samsara bandhanat janma ajnana vijambhitanam avidyakaryanam upalakshanam. So what is this janma? Ajnana vijambhitanam. Janma is basically just the phala of ajnana, because wherever there is jnana, janma will not be there, right? So this ajnana vijambhitanam avidyakaryanam upalakshanam janma. So that has been come through the avidya, by ajnana, that phala of that is known as janma in simple terms. Samsaraha avidya tabhyam janma samsarabhyam yad bandhanam tasmat muchyate muktah bhavati. Iti shashtah prashnah. The sixth prashna is, by doing japam of what do these pranis get freed? Janma samsarabhyam tabhyam janma samsarabhyam yad bandhanam tasmat muchyate muktah bhavati. Muktah bhavati means they are freed from this janma and samsara, and that is the sixth prashna. Muchyate janma samsara bandhanat iti idam upalakshanam itareshaam phalanam api etad grahanam mokshasya pradhanakyapanartham. So like I saw in the last class, itaresham phalanam api. So if you look at the end, after the 1000 namas, iditam kirtaneyasya, after that there is an entire section called the phalashruti. Like how we have the purva bhaga, and in the madhya we have the namas, at the end we have the phalashruti. So itaresham phalanam api etad grahanam. So because moksha is being discussed, we don't want to again say dharma, artha, kama, and everything. Artharthi, prapniya, dharma, all those phalas are there in the end. But etad grahanam api, itaresham phalanam api etad grahanam mokshasya pradhanyakhyapanartham. Because moksha is the pradhana here, they are not explicitly saying the other phalas, but by doing this japa, those will also be attained if there is a sakama bhakta. So किमेकम् इति षट् प्रश्नाः कथिताः, तेषु पाश्चात्यः अनन्तरः जपविषयः षष्ठः प्रश्नः अनेन श्लोकेन परिह्रियते. So at the end, Shankaracharya gives a quick summary. किमेकम् इति षट् प्रश्नाः कथिताः. So from किमेकं दैवतं लोके until now 6 prashnas have been asked. So तेषु पाश्चात्यः अनन्तरः जप्यविषयः षष्ठः प्रश्नः अनेन श्लोकेन परिह्रियते. So the end of those questions, the sixth question, Kim Japan Muchate Jantuhu, Japya Vishaya Shashtah Prashnaha, Anena shlokena, by the shloka parihrayate, is resolved. So when Bhishma is answering the questions, he's not answering in the order that Yudhishthira asked. The first question, the first answer that he is giving is to the last question, which is Kim Japan Muchade Jantur Janma Samsara Bandhanat. So that bhasha is Sri Bhishma Uttaramuvacha Jagat Prabhum Devadevam Anantam Purushottamam Stuvannama Sahasrena Purushas Satatothitaha. So that Jagat Prabhum, Jagataha Prabhum Jagat Prabhum, that Prabhu or the Lord of the entire universe, the entire Jagat, Devadevam. The Devadevam means Devanam Devaha, the God of even the gods themselves, the Brahma, the gods. Anantam. Anantam means one that has no antam or end. Purushottamam, the Uttama Purusha. Stuvannama Sahasrena Purushaha Satatothitaha. By doing the nama, by doing the praising of these, by these Sahasranamas, by these 1,000 namas, Purushaha Satata Utthitaha. These Purushas are Satataha Udyuktaha. They are ever freed. So what the Bhashakara says is Sarvesham Bahiranta Shatrunam Bhayahetur Bhishmaha Moksha Dharmadinam Pravakta Sarvajnaha. So this Bhishma, who is the cause of Bhaya, of the Bahi and Antashatruhu, because of his Brahmacharya. We see that Grihastha Ashrama is said to be the highest ashrama according to Shastras. But why is that? Because even the brahmacharya ashrama and the sannyasa ashrama, they go to the grihastha's house for bhiksha, and they're the one that is supporting all the dharma karyas through artha and everything, because brahmachari and sannyasi cannot earn, right? So they are the pradhana ashrama. But if you look at in terms of tapas, compared to brahmachari, this grihastha is one level down in terms of tapas, because he is looking at other karyas, artha sambhadana, kutuba and everything. So by brahmachari is not just anyone that is not married. Brahmachari means who is doing guru shushrausha and learning the Veda as per sampradaya and doing bhiksha charanam and eating every day. That brahmachari has a certain level of tapas, and because of this tapas, Bhishma gave a vow to his parent Shantanu, so that he would remain as a brahmachari. So because of this brahmacharya balam, sarvesham bahiranta shatrunam bhayahetur Bhishmaha. Bhishma is not the name that he was born with. His name was Devavrata. But because of this brahmacharya vrata, this naishtika brahmacharyam, he got the name Bhishma. And why? Because he is the sarvesham bahiranta shatrunam bhayahetuhu. He is the cause of bhaya for both the bahishatruhu, like rakshasadi shatrus, and antashatruhu, like the kamakrodhadi shatrus, kamakrodha, moha, madamatsarya shatrus. So because he is a hetu or cause for bhaya, he got the karana nama Bhishma, and he is a moksha dharmadinam pravakta sarvajnaha. He is a sarvajnaha, or all knowing of all these mokshadi dharmas. So to that Bhishma, that is just the bhashya for the word Bhishma itself. So the bhashya for the actual shloka Jagat Prabhum is Jagat sthavara jangamatmakam tasya prabhum swaminam. Jagat meaning sthavara jangamatmakam, the movable and immovable objects. Tasya prabhum, the lord of those objects. Prabhum means swaminam, that swami. Tam swaminam, you have to say. Devadevam, devanam brahmadinam devam. Devadevam means even the god of the gods themselves. In Upanishad we say Bhishasmad vatah pavate bhishodeti suryaha. By this Brahman, vatah pavate, the wind blows. Bhishodeti suryaha. Suryaha udeti, the sun rises. Why? Because of this Devadevam. Devanam devaha. This Brahman, this Paramatman. Because of this Devadi Deva. So even we have Indra the Devas. Indra himself called Devendra. But the Deva of even that is Devadevam. Anantam. Deshataha kalataha vastutascha aparechinnam. He is not bound by any desha, kala or vastu. Desha meaning place, Kala meaning time, or Vastu meaning that type of the object. So if I have one pustaka, that pustaka is only here in this place. That pustaka cannot be in somewhere else. It is confined by Desha, by Kala. Right now that pustaka was here. In the previous time it was not there. Afterwards it will also not be there. And Vastu, this pustaka will always only be a pustaka. It will never become a flower. Like that, these are all objects are bonded by the Desha, Kala and Vastu. But this Anantam refers to one that has no end. And for that, what Shankaracharya says is Deshataha, Kalataha, Vastutascha, Aparichinnam, meaning one that is not bonded by this Desha, Kala and Vastu. Because everything, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, all Vastus are within this Brahman itself. So there is no question of Vastu Parichinnam. Because if you have any other Vastu, that Vastutvam will only be for that Vastu. This Vastu can only be one thing. But for this Brahman, all Vastus are within that, and it is not confined to any space or time. Deshataha Kalataha. Purushottamam Ksharaksharaabhyam Karyakaranaabhyam Utkrishtam. For this, in Panchatashadhyaya of Gita, in the Purushottama Yoga, Krishna says, Yasmat Ksharamatidoham Aksharadapi Chottamaha Atosmi Loke Vede Cha Pradhitav Purushottamaha. Yasmat Ksharamatiitaha. So, this Atitaha, meaning he is transcendental upon both the Kshara and Akshara, by things that perish and things that don't perish, the imperishable soul as well. He is Atitaha. Like that. This Purushottamam means Ksharaksharaabhyam, Karyakaranaabhyam, Utkrishtam. Even from these, the Utkrishtam, the highest. Nama Sahasrena, Namnam Sahasrena, Stuvan, Gunan Sankirtayan. Meaning, by these 1,000 namas, Namnam Sahasrena, these group of 1,000 namas, Stuvan, praising Gunan Sankirtayan, Satata Uttitaha, Nirantaram Udyuktaha. Udyuktaha, meaning they are constantly freed. Nirantaram Udyuktaha. Purushaha Purnatvat, Purushayanadva, Purushaha Sarvadukkhatigo Bhavet. Purushaha, this Purushaha does not mean man, like we see in Sarala Sanskrit. This Purushaha means Puri, meaning in the heart. Shayanam, meaning one that rests in the heart, is called Purushaha. Puri does not mean city. Here, Puri means Hridi, in the heart. Purusha Purnatvat, because of that Purnam. We say Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Because of that Purnatvat, Purushayanadva, Purushaha Sarva Dukkhatigo Bhavet. So, Dukkha Atigaha means he is freed from all the dukkhas. He goes beyond, he transcends all the dukkhas. Sarva Dukkha Atigaha. Atigaha means he has crossed all dukkhas. Sarva Dukkhatigo Bhavet. Iti Sarvatra Sambadhyate. So the shloka was Bhishma Uttaramuvacha Jagatprabhum Devadevamanantam Purushottamam Stuvannama Sahasrena Satatothitaha Sarvesham Bhirantashatrunam Bhayahetur Bhishmaha Mokshadharmadinam Pravakta Sarvajnaha Jagat Sthavara Jangamatmakam Tasya Prabhum Swaminam Devadevam Devanam Brahmadinam Devam Anantam Deshataha Kalataha Vastutascha Aparichinnam Purushottamam Ksharaksharaabhyam Karyakaranaabhyam Utkrishtam Namasasrena Namnam Sahasrena Stuvan Gunan Sankirtayan Satatothitaha Nirantaram Udyuktaha Purushaha Purnatvat Purushayanadva Purushaha Sarvadukkhatigo Bhavet Iti Sarvatra Sambadhyate. So this Purusha is because either he is dwelling in the heart or because of its fullness. Purnatvatva athava Purishayatva. So either because he rests in the heart or because he is Purna. That Purusha is that name. And then the fourth prashna or question is being answered in the next shloka. तमेव चार्चयन् नित्यं भक्त्या पुरुषमव्ययं ध्यायन् स्तुवन् नमस्यंश्च यजमानस्तमेव च. So tameva archayan nityam bhaktya. So tameva tam purushamavyayam eva archayan nityam. That unchanging purusha, by worshipping that always with bhakti, bhaktya, dhyayan stuvan namasyamscha. By doing dhyana, by praising and by doing namaskara to that purushamavyayam tam yajamanaha tameva cha. They get sarva dukkati go bhavet. So that sarva dukkati go bhavet from the previous shloka needs to be included in all the other shlokas. So we saw in the previous shloka, correct? Stuvan nama stuva jagat prabhum devadevam anantam purushottam stuvan nama sahasrena purushas satadotthitaha. So this sarva dukkati go bhavet from the has to be included in the all the shlokas that are being given in the Uttaram. Actually, it comes in the next shloka. Anadi nidhanam vishnum sarvaloka maheshwaram lokadhyaksham stuvan nityam sarva dukkati go bhavet. But when Adi Shankara writes, this sarva dukkati go bhavet must be included in all six answers. So for this shloka also we have to include. So tamevacha archagan nityam bhaktya purushamavyam dhyayam stuvan namasyamscha yajamanas tamevacha. So he who worships and prays daily without break to that Purusha who is Avyaya, that does not change, and that Vishnu that has no end or beginning, the Lord of all Lords or the Deva of all Devas, he would be free from all these bondages and he would surpass dukkha and all the miseries of life. It's the basic meaning. So for the Bhashya, what Shankaracharya says is, Tamevacha archayan bhahyarchanam kurvan. So for archanam, he is saying bhahyarchanam, the outside archana, outside puja. Nityam sarveshu kaleshu, in all times, bhaktihi bhajanam tatparyam taya bhaktya purushamavyam vinashakriya rahitam. So to do that bhajana or that bhaj means to do stotra, to praise, the bhajadatu. So that by worshipping bhaktya purushamavyam, by bhakti, with bhakti, that avyam, that vyaya meaning changing, avyam meaning without change, that nitya purusha, vinashakriya rahitam. Nashakriya means death. The vinashakriya meaning any of the shadbhava rahita. The shadbhavas that we see are the asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. So this asti, jayate, vardhate, viparinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati, meaning existence, birth, growth, change, decay, and death. They do not have, the Purusha does not have these six. So for that, he is the Vinasha Kriya Rahitam. Tamevacha dhyayan abhyantararchanam kurvan stuvan purvoktena. So already we saw stuvan as guna sankirtanam kurvan. So again, he is not repeating that. So purvoktena, by what has been said before, namasyanne namaskaram kurvan puja shesha bhutam ubhayam stuti namaskara lakshanam. So when we do any puja, there are multiple angas, not in order, but we have to do dhyana and then japa and then this kshama pratana, namaskara and then a pratana, right? We say aparadha sahasrani kriyante harnisham maya dasohamiti ma maktva kshamasva purushottama, like that, right? Anyada sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama tasmat karunya bhavena rakshamam purushottama. All these prathanas we do. So this is all can be contained within the namaskaram, archanam, pujanam, stuvan, by doing stotra, all of those. So puja shesha bhutam ubhaya samstuti namaskara lakshanam. So even that we do namaskara and we say the aparadha sahasrani, we do the pradakshina and like that, all those angas, that is what is being referred to here. Yajamanaha pujakaha phala bhokta. So this yajamana is the pujaka. The one doing the kriya is called the yajaman. from the yaj dhatu, meaning to offer. Yajna means devata uddesha tyagaha yagaha. So that tyaga or that sacrifice that is done for a devata uddesha. So for this devata, that is called a yaga. So in Gita we say Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaipatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So for Atmagnani, all the vastus Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam, all the dravyas being offered are also Brahman itself. The Yajna Patras are also Brahman, the ladle is Brahman, that ghee is Brahman, the Agni is Brahman, and the Yajamana is also Brahman. So this is different from the bhavana that we do for any shalagrama. So if we do shalagrama archana, we have the bhava that the shalagrama is a Vishnu Swarupa and we do puja. That is just our bhavana. That is our bhavana, that we sing the shalagrama as the Vishnu Swarupa. But for the Atmagnani, everything is not just a bhavana. By truth itself, these are all Brahman. That's why Krishna himself says, Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhaya chutumicchati tasya tasya achalam shraddham tameva vedadhamyam. So whatever form that this bhakta wants to do puja, shraddhaya chutumicchati, with shraddha, tasya tasya achalam shraddham tameva vedadhami. I myself give him unchanging shraddha to that puja. So this all must be said when we are looking at this. So that yajamanaha pujakaha palabhokta. Palabhokta means the one that enjoys the fruit of that karma, the one that is doing sankalpa for that karma. In a laukika term, we also saw the Advaitic stand as well. So athava archyan nityam archyan nityena ubhaya vidhamarchanam uchyate dhyayan stuvan namasyamscha ityanena manasam vachikam kayikam cha uchyate. So when you're doing the dhyayan, that is in the manas. Stuvan, that is vachikam, or through the mouth, by speaking. Archayan, kayikam. So we see that there are three types of karmas, right? Manasa, vacha, hastabhyam, padhyam, udurena, shishnya. We also see for any punya karma or papa karma also. So when it is a manasa karma, that can be referred to as dhyayan. Stuvan can be referred to as the vachika karma, and namasyamscha as the kayika karma. With the sharira, we do the ashtanga or panchanga namaskara. So this is the tatparya. The shloka was Tame Bachar Chagan Nityam Bhaktya Purushamabhyam Dhyayan Stuvan Namasyam Sigidamanas Bacha Tame Bacha Archagan Bahyarchanam Kurvan Nityam Sarveshu Kaleshu Bhakti Bhajanam Tatparyam Taya Bhaktya Purushamabhyam Vinashakriya Rahitam Tame Bacha Dhyayan Abhyantararchanam Kurvan Stuvan Purvoktena Namasyan Namaskaram Kurvan पूषाशेष भूतम उभय संस्तुति नमस्कार लक्षणम यजमानः पूजकः फलभोक्ता अथवा अर्चकन् नित्येन उभय विधम अर्चनमुच्यते ध्यायन् स्तुवन् नमस्यंश्च इत्यनेन मानसं वाचिकं कायिकं च उच्यते. So this concludes the fifth shloka. So out of the 6 questions, Kim Japan was answered by the previous shloka, Stuvan Nama Sahasrena. By doing japa of what? Bhishma answers by doing japa of the 1000 namas. And for the question of kam archantaha, kam stuvantaha, the answer was given here. Tamevacha archikan nityam bhaktya purushayamaviyam dhyayan stuvan namasyamsi gajamanas tamevacha. So in the following shlokas, Bhishma continues with the answers to the questions, which we will continue looking at in the next lectures. Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu.
Thank you so much. As usual, excellent start again for this second session. It's good we have continuous sessions. We had some continuity from previous week as well. Jambunathan is there. Jambunathan, you want to go ahead and add a few more colors and then we will.
Oh, Namaskaram. Very excellent talk, Pranav. I think the relevance is it's so divinely coinciding with Bhishma Ashtami and Bhishma Ekadasi are coming this week that we are starting to talk about Bhishma's wonderful, revelation to all of us about the Vishnu Sahasranamam. So it is a just divine coincidence that we are starting this Vishnu Sahasranama Bhashya. We are starting about Bhishma Vach on the same week when we are arriving the Bhishma Ashtami, and that is a very great, I think it's a divine coincidence, and we are very happy that Pranav is able to do that. And wonderful quotations from Mundaka Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Manusmriti. Very nice, Pranav. Thank you for doing this for all of us. Jai Krishna.
Yeah, go ahead and we'll finish it off, and then we will have questions at the end. So those who are on the line, please wait. We will do the finishing Mangalam, and then we will have questions.
Mangalam Guru Shri Chandramaulishwar ke Shakti Ganapati Sharadambige Shankaracharyar ke Shakti Ganapati Mahaganapati Sharadambige ke Kala Bhairavar ke Kali Durgai ke Veera Dheera Shura Hanuma Maruti Charanatirke Mallikarjunarke Selva Janardanarke Amba Bhavani Kambada Ganapati Chandi Chamundi ke Shri Krishna Bhagavan ke Shri Chakravasini ke Sita Rama Lakshmana Sahita Maruti Charanatirke Vidyaranyar ke Vidya Shankaram ke Vagishwari ke Vajradega Garuda Anjaneyar ke Shri Valli Deva Sena Sameta Subramanyar ke Tungabhadrai ke Shringanivasini ke Shringeri Puriyil Nilaithirukkum Sharadambige Satchidananda Shiva Abhinava Nrsimha Bharati ke Shri Chandrasekhara Bharati Guru Sarva Bhaumar ke Shri Chandrasekhara Bharati Guru Vidyatirthar ke Shri Chandrasekhara Bharati Guru Bharati Tirthar ke Shri Chandrasekhara Bharati Guru Vidushekara Bharati ke Mangalam Guru Shri Chandramaulishwar ke Shakti Ganapati Sharadambig Shankaracharyar ke Shakti Ganapati Mahaganapati Sharadambigai ke Shringeri Puriyil நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே